Good morning. This is Sri Primo with a quick squad analysis and preview for the ninth team in our series, which is the Lucknow Super Giants for the upcoming 2025 IPL season. Let's quickly dive into their squad and then their strengths and weaknesses. They do enter this year with a much, I would say, an upgraded side, a new leadership, um, and they first started playing the IPL in 2022. They made the playoffs in the first two seasons, 2022 and 23, and they did finish seventh with just 14 points. Um, but again, they just missed the playoffs to a very poor run rate. So one of the things is that they, just like um, what we talked yesterday, uh, for the teams that go all in, like Punjab, for example, they went all in. They acquired Rishab Pant for a record-breaking 27 crores, and they appointed him captain. KL Rahul is now away, um, and the one thing they've done is that they've picked up. When I looked at the auction signings, they picked up David Miller from South Africa, who is an excellent player. Now, he could have easily won the tournament for South Africa in the T20 World Cup. I mean, but for that Surya Kumar Yadav, amazing catch by him in West Indies. So, and then they also picked up another South African in Aiden Markham, an Australian Mitchell Marsh. So, and they do have Avesh Khan and Akash Deep from a bowling attack standpoint. They have definitely strengthened that. When I look at the um, and they also have Nicholas Poran from the uh, West Indies team as well. Um, let's quickly go down to it for the squad analysis. But before I go there, their coach is now another Australian, just like Ricky Ponting. They have another Australian, Justin Langer, who used to be the head coach of the Australian cricket team, and also an ex-Australian player. They do have Morkel, who's actually their bowling coach, and of course, one of the greatest fielders of all time, Jonty Rhodes, is their fielding coach. So their coaching staff is excellent. Um, they're they've went in all in to pick up all these very key players, all key hitters. So let's quickly go down to their batting lineup. They probably have one of the most explosive batting lineups. You've got Punt, Pooran, Miller, and Markham and Marsh, and their batting lineup is excellent. So there's no doubt about it. They have a lot of experience. All these players, they bring a lot of aggression. They've been able to finish matches in critical games, and they can turn any game single-handedly with their batting power. And then on the pace attack, they obviously have, I didn't mention his name, Mayank Yadav, which I'm more excited to see. In fact, Amit and I, when we were doing the ICC Champions Trophy preview, we were kind of referring to Mayank Yadav. So he brings in a new attack with Moshin Khan, Avesh Khan, and Akash Deep. They have a very good quartet. Young players, but one thing that could concern me there is their fitness. And if they are fit, all of them, they could dominate the bowling at any batting. They could dominate any opposition batting lineup, especially on pitches that favors pace. So you have a great batting attack. They've got a great bowling attack, and and then you got all round options. You got Mitchell Marsh, Markham, and Shabazz Ahmed, all provide both. They can wield the bat and the ball as well. Uh, and then when you go to the spin bowling, Ravi Bishnoi also comes in. Great, good wicket keeping. He's been in the IPL for a long time, and I do think he adds another added dimension to the pace quartet that they have. Um, in terms of weakness, I touched upon it. Uh, Anytime you have a good pace quartet, a lot of these things are like you have fitnesses will be a key here. You have Mayank Yadav, who's actually recovering from a back injury. Obviously, he's the fastest bowler in India, and Mohsin Khan has some injury. He has some injury histories as well. So any setback they have in any of these two players could definitely put a dent into their hopes. And then in the spin department, I mean, Bishnoi is good, but every you need at least two to three spinners to balance the attack. And they do have young players, but the spin departments indeed looks very, very thin. They do have this new player called Manimar and Siddharth that I've not heard much about him, but uh, someone to watch out for. And usually in these IPLs, you're always going to see breakout players like we saw Mayank Yadav, or even like Umran Malik we saw some time back. So you're going to see some new players. Will this person, Manimaran, be the person going to be the key for LSG? Um, the one thing that I did see another weakness was that this is something we touched upon even with Punjab, not having a reliable batting, opening batting attack, which are going to be very critical, especially in the opening 6 overs or so, especially in the power play. That's going to be the key for LSG. They don't have a good designated opener. You have Marsh and Markham could fill the gap, but they've not been as consistent in the IPL. So anyway, and then middle order, they have uh, there's something uh, you know more people hitting. I think one thing they don't have is like a player of KL Rahul's capability who uh, on Lucknow it's very slow pitch. So interesting that they all went in all into the pace, especially when they play home matches, and they didn't really. Um, but I think they do have bowlers who can kind of be effective on that. But let's see what will happen. Now, let's see what it'll bring from a captaincy standpoint. You have Punt, who's going to be captain. Can he unlock the squad's potential? I think they're definitely going to play a fearless brand of cricket. And then you got some young players coming in too. And then you got a lot of the, when you look at the overseas players, very strong overseas players that they have done, they've purchased. Injuries could be the key, and then and then you got the on the punt side, the leadership I definitely mentioned, and you got teams, who are going to be much more very strong teams in the IPL this year. So overall, I see the outlook. They have a squad with a lot of potential. They got a lot of youth on their side, and they've also managed it with experience. Their batting powers, especially in the middle order, especially batters who can chase big innings or big totals, that's there. They have a great spin, no, great pace attack. It depends on the injury. Um, but that's where it's going to be. I think their success is going to be dependent on how they can manage their pace quartet, how they can harness a lot of the young talent that they have, how Punt reacts in a critical situations. But they do have a great coaching lineup that I mentioned, Langer, Morkel, and Jonty Rhodes. Will that be the reason why LSG will make to the playoffs? I don't know. Um, they do have a great shot to finish in the top five. Can it make the playoffs? Again, this is the same thing I tell about all the players. And again, we're talking 3-4 days before the IPL. Not a single ball has been bowled, and it is definitely going to be difficult picking some of these teams because you don't know how these teams are going to react, how injuries are going to affect, how captaincy, leadership, everything else is on the table. So um, I feel that this team could be contending. A lot of things have to go their way. Just like I mentioned, like Punjab yesterday. Let's see. I still see them looking, outside looking in, just like Punjab. And right now, we have three teams that I've already picked. Um, and let's go from there. All right. Thanks again for listening. Thanks again for supporting this podcast. Have a good night.